joining us at this time. This is Holistic Wellness, brought to you by Salem Consultants and Madam Ann Karambo. We are excited to bring this program to you. We are coming to you live on Facebook from Nairobi, Kenya. Them that are watching us from East Africa, it's good morning. Them that are watching us from Asia, America, North America, South, Europe, and all the other parts of the world, you're so much welcome. We are here to be informed, to be educated, to be inspired, and to be guided on how to walk forward holistically as a family, as a community, as a society, in the sense of building and molding a better nation for young people and everyone in our family lineage. Welcome so much. I am your host, Festus Mwandi, and our guest is here today as always. And kindly I'll request her to introduce herself to us. Then we are going to pick it from there on what we are discussing today. Karibu sana, welcome.
Thank you, Festus. Thank you very much, everyone that is viewing us. We are grateful that you were able to log in and follow us on Facebook Live. My name is Ann Karambu. I'm a mother, a wife, and a nutritionist by profession. I'm also a counseling psychologist by profession. Apart from all that, I do youth mentorship, and that is majorly who I am. I'm also the CEO of Salem Consultants, and yes, today we would want to come to you with holistic living. When we talk about holistic living, we talk about our mental health, we are talking about our spiritual health, and we are also talking about our physical health and physical wellness. So we major on looking at a human in holistic way. How can I become a whole person without having one side excelling above the other? Yes, so welcome so much. Yes, back to Festus.
Thank you so much for such a profound introduction of yourself and what you do. There you have it, viewers. We are not doing try and error in bringing to you the right stuff. We are well prepared for your holistic growth. And today we are talking about a very sensitive subject that has been an issue in our country and also in other countries in the world. Following the closure of many schools around the globe, you're sure there's been a lot of back and forth of who is responsible for my child's growth, for their behavior or their change of behavior. And a lot of things have been happening. And we are left with who to blame. But now I want us to handle it on a different way. Today we are talking about teenage pregnancy. Teenage pregnancy. Pregnancy among the teenagers. A very comprehensive data given by some non-government organizations in Kenya showed that the teenage pregnancy in Kenya has increased. It has rapidly grown than any other time. And that may bring us to maybe the reasons might be the closure of schools, a lot of many other reasons. But now we are getting to be opened to know exactly what has been happening behind. What comes to your mind when you hear the growing numbers of the teenage pregnancy, especially in our country?
Okay, maybe to start with, I would want to say it's a very sad state of affairs in our time.
Yeah.
And, remember, when we are talking about a teenager, we are talking about ages of between 13 and 18 years, 19, it goes down to 19. But unfortunately, in our case, especially in Kenya, it is going down to even around 9 years. I think there is a time in the media we got news of a young girl who I think at 9 years, who got pregnant. So yes, it is a sad state, but as I keep saying all the time, is that there is hope, both for the parent and both for that child who has found herself in that state, because that is, again, not the end of life. Yes. So who is to blame? Who is responsible? We may not really, in this setup, pinpoint directly who the problem is or who is the cause of the problem, but we would want to diagnose, get to understand what is this that is happening within our communities, within our environment, what is causing all these challenges that our young people are facing. Maybe we can also start by explaining who a teenager is and what is happening in their life. One, a teenager, this is the age of puberty. And there are so many changes that are happening in the body of this young person. And remember, one of the changes that is happening is that there is a rapid growth and transformation happening in terms of their sexuality. So if there is an age that requires a lot of guidance on that particular topic, then it is this age. So if left without guidance, if left without knowing what am I supposed to do when I find myself in this space, then what happens is that we will have the crisis like the one we already have, like in our nation and other nations of the world. I know this is not like a Kenyan problem. I know this is a problem that really affecting young people across board. And so the changes, yes, that are happening, there are changes we have to do with the environment that child is growing in. Then there is exposure. There is so much exposure to media, internet and everything, and it's like the children are left with no one to guide them, like to who is this that is putting guards? Who is this that is saying this is the far that you can go? And even when we are at this, especially parents that are watching, how many of us have started a conversation with our children on the topic of sex and sexuality? Unfortunately, we don't talk about these things. We either shelve them, or we just castigate our children for speaking about them openly. But unfortunately, what is happening for us is that children are becoming victims of the same. Although we will not talk about it, now we have it with us. So do we still continue being silent? Do we still continue holding it back and say this is a taboo? We don't speak about it in our houses. We don't discuss these topics. Is it the way to go? Other organizations definitely are offering us options of giving our children contraception. I am not an advocate of that. I am not an advocate of abortion. I am an advocate of an abstinence. And even when a child is exposed to these things, they can still be reconstructed back to become a people who are responsible again in the society. Because being expectant does not mean the end of life. I think that is one thing that we are supposed to be saying even as we are at this, because I believe there are so many young people out there and almost feeling like they are lost in a world of their own. No one is understanding them. They have this challenge. They do not know how to handle it. But I want to speak to you, young person, who is there and wondering what is the way forward from now. There is hope.
Amen.
That is not the end of your life. There is, you can still be able to pick your pieces and become that person that you were created to become, without this predicament that has found you becoming something that is going to deter you
Yeah.
from becoming the person God has created you to become.
Yeah.
Yes, Festus.
That's right. And that brings me to one of these subjects. And I'm asking, do we have enough of knowledge? Do we have sufficient knowledge on sex and sexuality in our homes? Do we handle this in churches today? Do we have that sufficient information? And are people being introduced into proper sexual reproductive health information? According to you, what is your view?
The issue really is it's not whether we have the information, because the information is there.
Okay.
You go to the website, you go to books. I mean, the information is out there. The problem is who is willing to talk about these things to our children.
Yeah.
That
Who
is
is
where,
willing?
yes, that is where the problem is. And maybe they also want to speak about them, but the how becomes a problem.
The how to do it.
Yes, the how and when and how appropriate. And of course, like I have said on this forum again, I did a book that I titled "Talking to Your Child About Sex and Sexuality." And remember, of course, what prompted me to doing this book, it is after working with a number or having sessions with a number of young people, children, and you realize the things they are exposed to, even as early as 6 years, are things really in their age they cannot be able to understand what exactly is happening to them. So I came up with a book that is age appropriate, starting from 2 years. What is this that we are supposed to tell a 2-year-old about sex and sexuality? Some things that you can give such a young child is avoid people touching your body. The child is supposed to be able to understand there are parts that are private and there are parts that are public. There are places that child can allow people to touch, and there is inappropriate touch, and there is inappropriate talk. There are pictures they are not supposed to see or watch, even on the cartoons. So in their language, being able to introduce it to them. Two, of course, we talk about issues like being able to understand who is a stranger. Remember, at that age, definitely children at that age will be more attached to the family members. But still, it is necessary for the child to know that they cannot just expose themselves to a stranger. Remember, this one goes all the way to around 5 years. Then from there we start to a 6-year-old should be able to understand their body parts, be able to call them by their names. Unfortunately, we don't want to call them by their names, but if really it is very hard to use the real names, you can use the names that the child can understand at that point. But we recommend that if it is possible, you name the body parts for what they are. Of course, at that point, again, you mention, we are talking about 6 years and above. You mention issues of rape. Being able to understand, the child should be able to understand anyone who forces them to do anything, they should be able to tell the parent or the caregiver or the teacher, that person who is taking care of them, so that even when they are threatened, they will not just shut up and not speak it, because most of the people who defile children, they will threaten them with words like, if you speak this to anyone, I'll kill you. And of course, because at that point the child takes every word that is spoken seriously, so they imagine that surely this person is going to kill me. Again, going ahead from that age, the child should be able to understand matters pregnancy. They should be able to understand a baby comes, is carried in the womb of a mother. You may not really go to the nitty-gritties, but they should be able to understand that. So as the process goes, by the time the child is 9 years, remember this is the age they are just approaching puberty. So it is good to also explain to the child the changes that will happen. And remember, when we are talking about the child, we are not talking about girls only. Unfortunately, in our families, we will empower the girl, but we leave the boy. What happens to this boy is that this is the boy that is defiling our children. This is the boy that is going to meet this girl that you empowered, and it is the boy that is going to give this child the pregnancy, because what happened is that we empowered the girl and left the boy. And that is the sad state, especially in our nation, Kenya. There is a lot of campaign and hype of the girl child, which started way back in the 90s, and it's like we left the boy child to fend for themselves. And because of that, we are having empowered women, we are having empowered girls, but where are the men who are going to marry, who are going to be in a relationship with these girls, who are going to become the fathers, even to the children? So when we are talking about guiding the child through puberty, it is the boy and the girl. So the girl is supposed to be taught matters, menstrual cycle and what happens, and it is at this point, when you're explaining the menstrual cycle, you have to explain birth. How birth happens. Because the child is supposed to understand that if of course, the concept of what is this that is menstrual cycles, so that they understand it is the egg that is unfertilized that is coming out. So the parent has an opportunity at this point to explain that if you engage in sexual activities at this age, it means that this egg is going to be fertilized and you'll be able to carry a pregnancy. At this point, the child can be able to understand. Remember, our children are maturing early, so most of them are starting their menses as from 8 years, between 8 and 9. So if you delay until 13, you realize the child has already gone through that phase and they don't understand. That means if they get into a sexual activity at that point, at 9 years, without the parent having guided the child, what is going to happen? We have our pregnancy here, which we do not know how to handle. Remember, I don't really understand how a 9-year-old will carry a pregnancy to term. This is even risky for their health. Of course, the health practitioners will tell you that it is very risky for a child to be at that age to be able to carry a pregnancy. The process of carrying the pregnancy and all the way to birth is a whole real problem to the child. So of course, that is teenage. Take the child through all the puberty changes that are going to happen. But for the boy, also the boy needs to understand all those changes. And I know all of us, most of us parents, most of us young people, especially from class 6, we know those changes that take place. So the boy is supposed, the key thing for the boy at puberty is to respect a girl. Because at this age, unfortunately, what happens is that most of them take young girls or girls at that point as sexual objects, rather than now are people that have feelings, that are of course are people who are to be respected. So we need to teach our boys to respect girls.
Right.
And not look at them as sexual objects.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we have the information. The problem is how to relay the information, where to begin, you know, and all that. And as Madam Ann said, we have that book here at Salem Consultants, a book guiding you on how to begin that conversation with your child, matters of sex, Sexuality, Sex and Sexuality. We have that book. For you to get a copy of that book, kindly log in into Facebook, look for Salem Consultants. You get our contacts there, go through our website, you get our contacts there, and you can give us a call. We'll tell you how to get a copy of that book and many other books. All right, that takes me to one more issue. We may be having some early pregnancies among the young adults or among the teenagers in the previous years. But this year, it's all blasted. And my question comes, and this is the question in the minds of many, probably. Do teachers play such a big role to blow whistle and to protect our young girls against sexual predators? Or is it because parents are not careful about how their children are growing? Who is who?
Now, maybe before I respond to that, I want to go all the way to around 25 years in how we guide the child. I would want to go to, yes, we've done with the teenager.
Yeah, sure.
So we also get now the young adult.
Yeah.
The young adult is, of course, the teenager is now not young adult, but from now 16 years to 19, that age then we are now supposed to get into dating, issues of boy-girl relationship. The girl is supposed to understand, how do I relate with these boys? How do I relate with these girls and still safeguard myself so that I don't expose myself to things that are going to ruin my body and my future? So remember, this is the age where now the boy-girl attraction is normally very high. So the child again is supposed to be guided on how do I handle those relationships. Remember, as we speak and as we are handling teenage pregnancy, this is something that is almost not a discussion in the home.
Sure.
So what is going to happen when we meet, when a 15-year-old meets with a 16-year-old boy, they are holding hands, they are hugging, they are working together, they find themselves in the house alone, and there is no guidance. And remember, we are living in a time where accessibility of pornography, accessibility of all these videos that are exposed is very high. So what is going to happen to these young people? Definitely, they have nothing else but to experiment what they saw happening. And most of the young people, like the ones I have talked to, and were deep into those issues of sex, did not really understand what it is they were doing. Especially from the age of 6 to around 12, they don't know what it is that they're doing. But again, this is the age because once you are exposed, getting out of it is not easy. Now, come on.
Now, it's not once you're involved into this. Parents, is very important that you talk to your children about sex and sexuality. Let's not be afraid of mentioning some of these things to them. We are protecting their future. We are guarding their tomorrow and their destinies. And here comes the question. Teachers seem to be playing a big role.
Yes.
Because when these kids are together with teachers at school, we have less cases of rape, of exposure to sexual morality, not really pornography because it's so much hidden and out there so much, but this rate of teenage pregnancy, are we now understanding the importance of teachers maybe?
Yes, our society has left, unfortunately, it is a sad state. The bigger percentage of parents have left parenting to teachers. And it starts very early. It starts as early as the child gets to school. And not only teachers, it's also left to most of the times to house helps and caregivers.
Yeah.
So we've become, I don't know, so busy that almost the core aspect of parenting has almost been forgotten. Because as I keep saying every other time, is that parenting is not provision.
Yeah.
Parenting is not taking a child to school. It is not buying food for them. Yes, those are very important. But there are things that you must, as a parent, be present in the life of a child to be able to become. Because we are talking about matters of nurture. Does your child understand themselves? Do they know the changes that are happening in their body? How do they interact with their friends? How do they handle one another? So these are core issues that only the parent is supposed to guide the child. But this is a point we are lacking a lot, and that is what has been passed on to the teachers in school. If I'm not a teacher, but I interact with a number of them, and if they tell you the amount of issues that they are brought in class, it is so much. In fact, most of our teachers don't only do the teaching. They carry so much that they of course they help the children go through. So definitely now, this child who was neglected at home had only a shoulder to lean on in school. So what happens to this child when they are not in school? Definitely they are vulnerable. So any person who seems to show any kind of support in terms of moral support, and they have an opportunity to lean on them, of course definitely will take advantage of them. And most of the teenage pregnancies, although we may look at them and imagine that the young people really are as promiscuous as they are, most of the cases are cases of rape. Others are incest. Incest that happens in the home. Others are date rapes. Others are just experimentation. I was just experimenting, and I found myself here. I've heard so many young people tell me, I don't know how I found myself here.
Right, and it's a disturbing state that our kids have to go through, because I can imagine quite a number of our children won't go back to school once we reopen the schools, probably early coming year, because they would love us to handle this. Then later in the year, or the whole year again is wasted. That is 2 years wasted, and it's so painful. It's a disturbing thing. And you mentioned how some of these things happen, and we've had some girls complain that I haven't been exposed into sexual immorality before at all. But my first time has been from a member in the family. Incest seems to have taken some rule in our girls' lives. Is there a way to avoid that?
First, remember we talk about youth empowerment.
Yes.
It is good to empower the young person, the child, with knowledge.
Right.
So when I know that regardless of who it is it my uncle, is it my cousin, that person can be of can be of harm to me. I'll be careful, and when that happens, I'll be able to protect myself, or at least I'll scream, or at least I'll talk to someone. But now, when this meets a child who is not empowered with any knowledge, what happens? Definitely that child is exposed. I remember there's a case I was handling of a young boy who was introduced to, who was sodomized by the cousin from the age of 10. And the cousin then, I think, was around 16, 17 years. Yes. And this happened until the boy, when I was meeting the boy, he was 16. The other one was around 22, 24. Yeah. And the parent had no idea. In fact, the parent knew from our sessions.
What?
Yes.
So does it mean we are not really in touch with our kids as parents?
You see, remember the matters of sexuality have been shelved. I think they are put in a lock and key.
Okay.
So these are not issues that parents and children will have a discussion about. I think our next session we should have young people who can be able maybe to tell us what are the challenges that they are facing. Because really, okay, in my experience, the many that I've discussed with and those that have come with those issues, there is completely no discussion
between the kids and the parents.
Yes. So not unless there is a discussion, and it has to be intentional. It has to be intentional. I have to be intentional because as I said, I am not saying that you stop working. I am not saying we don't do what we do. I am not saying we stop paying school fees. We will look for money. We will go out and work. But that 10 minutes, I am telling you 5 minutes is enough for a child. Just go, ask, how was your day? Who did you play with? What are some of the things that you experienced today? Why do you look sad? Those are things that for a child means so much.
Wonderful.
So just by being able to ask such questions, the child in the process will be able to tell you how their day was. And if there was any challenge, maybe like those issues now of abuse, the child will be able to speak out. So yes, in the time of the pandemic, because of course, remember, we were locked in our houses. Most of the people still continued going to work. But remember, we are leaving our children in the houses. So remember, we live in a neighborhood. So if I have not empowered my children, they will go visiting the other young people, children also. So I have no limit to what they are going to do. The predators also are coming because I left and the children are in the house. So those are some of the dynamics that have made this season be
a terrible
as it is. But still there is hope.
There is hope.
Hope is not lost. To that young person again, who might be in that state and is expectant and feeling like their life has been wasted, or that young man who is being abused by someone and is almost feeling choked, he cannot be able to speak out. I am giving you words of hope today that start speaking to someone. The more you continue speaking to someone, you are going to find help.
Yes.
You will be guided on what you can do, so that you can be able to come out of that situation, and above all, be able to continue with your life normally. So yes, there is hope. All is not lost. We are not coming to this program to say that hope is lost. No, there is hope even for that one who does not know what tomorrow holds. As we speak on this matter, that person who is almost feeling like now I will not even be able to go to school, there is hope.
There is hope.
Yes.
Yes, indeed, there is hope. And I'm sure we're not able to exhaust everything in this program. And that's why we are telling you to get our books. Get our books on sex and sexuality. Get our books on many other matters. And just log in onto Facebook and search for Salem Consultants. You get our contacts there and learn more about us on our website, and you find some number you can call. We are able to deliver that book wherever you are, provided we communicate and we agree where we're going to deliver that book. The author of those books, none other but our guest who we are having today. And there is hope. That's very true. And as we look into that, we've realized that fear to to have that discussion with the kids about this matter. We've also seen the matter of incest arising so much. Some girls are really complaining. Also, some other boys, like we given an example of that young man. And we're also looking at the government restrictions on lockdown and maybe curfew. Could they have also, contributed into maybe the teenage pregnancies, because everyone is in the house, they are locked. At times, some parents were locked in other counties, and the kids had been left maybe with the uncles, with the houseboy, the shamba boy. Has that contributed maybe to the teenage pregnancy in your own view?
I will not blame the government, because remember, it is not the government issued the restrictions.
Yeah, that's right.
But rather, we are in a crisis.
Yeah.
We are in a health crisis. Of course, the life of a human being is more important than anything else.
Yeah.
And I believe that's why all those guidelines have been given.
Yeah.
But really, even as we are at that, it is not every child who is expectant.
Yeah, sure. That's right.
So I am this person who always looks at life on the other side of the coin. So we are not saying that the whole percentage of children who were supposed to go back to school are always pregnant. No, that is not what we are saying. So yes, those things are contributors. Our only challenge as a people is that we always want to pass blame to someone else. Let us do our part as parents. Let us do our part as caregivers. Let us do our part as families, brothers and sisters, aunties. The way things used to be done in our traditional setup. These are matters that would be handled from the grandmother to the uncle, to the auntie, to everyone else.
That's right.
It was a responsibility of every other person. But we as a people now have chosen to blame everybody else apart from ourselves. So let us not pass blame, not to the government, not to the church, not to the teachers. Let us take this responsibility upon ourselves. And that is why we are having this conversation.
Sure.
Because even if we go the way of contraception, assume, yes, we take that option. Who is going to heal the broken hearts? Because definitely we have completely destroyed the life of that child. So who is going to heal the diseases that children may contract? Who is going to bring back their innocence? Which contraception can be able to bring back the innocence of a child that has already been lost? So please, parents, let us not go for quick fix.
Yes.
Let us do these things hands-on. They have been tried and tested, and it works.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's why we're having this program, to say there is hope, and we're not here to cast blames on anyone, rather to find a solution to our kids. And as Madam Anne says, there is hope, and we have those girls who are watching, those teenagers. They have friends who are already pregnant. Or perhaps you're watching and you're the one who conceived, and you're asking, what am I going to do? You're saying there is hope, there is hope. And I want to ask you, kindly to guide these girls who are saying, yes, you're telling me there is hope, it's all right. But what next? What am I going to do? How can I move on with this? There's no one to guide me, no one to listen to me. All the blame is cast on me. What am I going to do? What is the guideline that we're able to give these teenagers who are watching and there is no hope according to them?
Okay, the first place is speak to someone. Don't keep it to yourself. The second one is don't hate on yourself. Remember, every time I meet a young person, somebody who is less than 18, I tell them, this mistake you're in is not your responsibility. there was an adult who failed you somewhere. So don't blame it on yourself first.
Yeah.
So that you are able to at least release yourself of that burden of
Yeah.
feeling that I'm a bad person, nothing good will come out of me. So start looking at yourself and go back to the dreams you had.
Yeah.
I always remind young people, revive the dreams you had when you
Yeah.
were 6 years, when you were 5 years old, that innocent person,
Yeah.
before you found yourself in this space. Revive them, because there is hope. You can
Yeah.
be able to come out of that situation
Yeah.
and be able to pick your pieces.
Yeah.
Yes. Is it education? It is possible to go back to school. Or maybe you need to know, I know that there is issues of people who adopt children if
Yeah.
you really cannot be able to handle that
Yeah.
child.
Yeah.
There are organizations out there that are able to guide
Yeah.
young children who are having issues of pregnancy, and we can be able to walk with you.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is start by speaking to someone.
Yeah.
Because that person,
Yeah.
of course an adult, person who is older than you,
Yeah.
that person will become your support system.
Yeah.
Somebody who will hold your hand and walk with you through the process.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm hearing one young person saying,
Yeah.
what if every other adult around me is condemning? I know that is a question
Yeah.
that many will ask,
Yes.
but I want to believe
Yes.
you cannot lack an auntie, an uncle, a cousin, someone who is going to receive you
Yeah.
and handle you without judgment.
Yes.
Because that is the starting point.
Yes.
Once you get to that place,
Yeah.
look for organizations that can support. Look for places where you can be able to get moral support.
Yeah.
And please, if you can, go back to school. Don't stop going to school
Yeah.
because you found yourself in this space. Yeah. So we will be able to talk about more and more
Yeah.
in our next sessions.
Yeah.
I would really want us to come to a close.
Yes.
The key purpose of this session
Yes.
was to start up this conversation
Yeah,
in
that's
our
right.
homes, in our houses, in our churches, in our schools.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right. Just to start up this conversation, because we'll be having a lot more. And we'll also be guided in the days to come in our shows to come, maybe on how to begin this conversation. To some of us up to date, even after hearing all this, is still a mystery.
Yeah.
It's still a problem. So our guest will always help us understand all that. She's here, and all the information she has, it's for you, dear viewers, just to help your child be re-edited and gotten back to track, to pursue their destiny, to pursue their purpose in life. Remember, we are careful about your children. This has been the moment we've been having with you. What is your part in short, your last words as we close this show, for us to pick it from there next week?
Good. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being part of this conversation.
Yeah.
I pray and trust that this conversation is not only going to be something that it will not just be a hype,
Yeah.
but we are going to really start this conversation hands-on
Yeah.
as from today.
Yeah.
Just the fact that you heard us speak about it today, let us start this conversation with our children.
Yeah.
For those that are already in the situation and are almost not aware of what can we do. If you're there and you're watching us, kindly inbox me.
Yeah.
If you're a parent, if you're a caregiver,
Yeah.
kindly inbox me on my Facebook account.
That's
and I'll
right.
be able to start a journey
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
Regardless of where you are,
Yeah.
we can be able to walk with you and know how can we be able to become
Yes.
this person that you were created to become,
Yeah.
regardless of the challenges that you faced.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, and God bless you.
Amen, amen. Powerful. Thank you so much. There you have it. And our guest is available to help your child. How can you get her? On Facebook, and Karambo Mwangi. Get there, you can friend request her, then get into her inbox. She will not ignore your text because we are here to help you, and she's willing. Remember, it's growing holistically. And again, go to Salem Consultants, like our page. You can follow us and get to learn more of what we do at Salem Consultants. This has been that educative, informative show, Holistic Wellness. I've been your host, Festus Mwandi. See you in our next show coming Tuesday from 10 to 11 a.m. East African time. God bless you. Thank you for joining us. Shalom, shalom.